It's your brother in Akdawaya Yasha'Allah from GOCC Houston.
Montezak Yahawada.
And we here on another episode of Keeping It Israel. Today's lesson is about the women of the Most High God and how they're supposed to serve God. Not according to my opinion, not according to these churches and what they're being taught in these theologian seminary schools, but according to thus saith the Lord. Now, first off, we're going to start out in 1 Corinthians 11, and let's get straight to it. 11 and verse 3. Let's get straight to it. Because a lot of these women, you know, they dwell up in these churches. They standing in the pulpit. They're deaconesses, if you ever heard of those. They're evangelizing and all of that. But the Most High said there's only one way to serve Him. Give me a second and we're going to get to that. Read, Hebrew.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
Paul is telling you that the head of every man is Christ. Read on.
And the head of the woman is the man.
No, the head of the woman is the pastor.
The head of the woman is the man.
No, the head of the woman is Christ.
The head of the woman is the man.
No, the head of the woman is God.
The man.
The head of the woman is the man. Read on, Jew.
And the head of Christ is God.
So what is that saying? That's saying that the hierarchy of the Most High's order, the head of Christ is God. The head of the man is Christ. And the head of the woman is the man. That's the order of God. You're going to find out that all these women who claiming holy, who walk up in these churches with these short skirts and these cleavage busting all out, they're not serving the Most High God. Read on. Let's get some understanding on that. Let's get some understanding on the hierarchy or the order of the Most High God.
Chapter 11, verse 14. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head.
Every man praying or prophesying and having his head covered. You see how this man's head's open? This is a mitre. According to Scripture, this is lawful for a man, a praying and prophesying man to wear. Every man praying or prophesying having his head covered, dishonoreth his head. Who's the man's head? Jump down to verse 3 again and read that. Let's see who the man is dishonoring.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
The head of every man is Christ. So when a man is in church or praying at his house or anywhere, praying or prophesying this true word of God, like you see in these streets, Israelites with six-pointed stars over their head or do-rags on their head, or these Christian rappers with fitted caps on their head, so-called giving you their doctrine. They are dishonoring Christ. That is the head of every man. Read on, Jew. Start from verse 5.
But every woman that prayeth or prophesies with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head.
Paul is telling you that the woman that prayeth and prophesied with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. And who's the woman's head? Start from verse 4.
Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head.
Read that from the top.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man.
The head of the woman is the man. So if the woman is praying or prophesying with her head uncovered, she dishonoreth her husband, her man. And if she's not married, she dishonoreth Christ as well. You understand that? That's the hierarchy of the Most High. So when you go up in these churches and you see all these women, because all the men, I'm going to be straight up honest, especially these mega churches, it's all women. They're preying upon the emotions of the women. I got bad news. Joyce Meyer, she's not serving the true God. She not only does she not cover her head, but she got all her hair chopped off. She come up in there with the shortest skirt she could find. Who else? Juanita Bynum, Creflo Dollar's wife. I don't know her name. That's how insignificant she is. Who else? Joel Osteen's wife. None of these women are honoring their head. Matter of fact, they're doing a dishonor to the church, to the Most High God, and to all their followers. Why did God tell the man to uncover his head when praying and prophesying, and tell the woman to cover her head when praying and prophesying? The reason why the Most High God told the man to uncover his head, because he is the image of the Most High God. And why did he tell the woman to cover her head? Jump down to verse 10, and let's see why.
For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels.
The woman is supposed to have power on her head because of the angels. You're going to find out, woman of God, daughter of Zion, you're being watched. Satan's an angel too. So not only does the Most High have his watchers reporting everything that you do, Satan's watching you. Don't forget, Satan didn't tempt Adam in the garden. He went to Eve. He tempted Eve. And we'll get into that on another study as well. But from there, let's go to 1 Corinthians 14 and 33. We're going to find out how a woman of God is supposed to serve, according to thus saith the Lord.
Corinthians, verse 14, chapter 14, verse 32.
33.
33.
Read on, Hebrew.
For God is not the author of confusion.
The Most High is not the author of confusion. And anytime you hear some confusion, somebody giving you anything other than these scriptures, you know that's not of God. That's of the other God. That's the fallen one, the wicked one. What does he mean by God is not the author of confusion? Read on.
But of peace, as in all churches of the saints. Let your women keep silence in the churches.
Let your women keep silence in the churches. Why is that, Paul? Read on, Jew.
For it is not permitted unto them to speak.
It's not permitted unto them to speak. Because it's confusion. They deal with emotions. They don't deal with truth. They deal with how they feel. And you know, what side of the bed they woke up on. And when you go to these churches, it's straight up confusion. It's straight up backwards. You got the older men sitting in the audience while the women are standing in the pulpit delivering you the sermon. When the Most High God is telling you it's not permitted for them to speak in the church. Read on, Jew.
But they are commanded to be under obedience.
As also saith what?
As also saith the law.
Women are commanded to be under obedience. As also saith the law. You're going to find out in these churches that's why they don't want to keep the law. The women don't want to give up her position of authority. That's why these churches are full of confusion. They tell you one minute they got Jesus in their heart, but yet they don't do nothing Jesus said to do. From there, let's go to 1 Timothy 2 and 9. And we're going to get some understanding on this. Because there's a lot of confusion going around with these women claiming to be the Holy of Holies. And when you see them, they got a skirt on exposing all of their business.
1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 9.
Read on, Jew.
In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel.
Women of the Most High adorn themselves in modest apparel. What does that mean, to wear modest apparel? Does that mean having the tightest skirt you can find with your business jumping all everywhere and people coming to the house of God to serve and to learn, but yet they're being distracted by the women that are the opposite of modest? They wear the opposite of modest apparel. They get their hair done, pay $200-300 to get their hair done on Saturday, just so that they can be the star attraction in the church, and then nobody receives any type of understanding because they worried about how Sister Patricia look, how Deacon Kelly looks. But you're gonna come to find out that these women aren't of the Most High God. They got to come out of their lustful ways. They got to come out of this and serve the way the Most High God told them to serve. Read on.
With shamefacedness and sobriety.
Sobriety. These women are up all night in the clubs getting drunk as I don't know what. And in the church Sunday morning, the same thing they wore to the club on Sunday nights. Looking no different. Read on, Jew.
Not with broidered hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but which becometh woman professing godliness.
Which becometh women professing godliness. So all these women in the church that are professing godliness, you call that godliness? Head uncovered, tight skirt, hair all cut off? I think not. Read on, Jew.
With good works, let the woman learn in silence.
Let the woman, he's telling you again, precept upon precept. Let the woman learn in silence. How these women gonna learn in these churches in silence when their mouth is steady open going, oh, I feel the Spirit falling all over the ground and speaking a language that nobody knows? How you call that learning in silence? How you call that serving God? That's not serving the Most High God. That's a bunch of confusion. Just like the Most High said in Corinthians 14. Read on.
Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection.
With all subjection. And if she learn at all, how it's going to be? Read on.
But I suffer not a woman to teach.
I suffer not a woman to teach. Meaning, we don't allow women to teach in the house of God. Why is that?
Nor to usurp authority over the man.
Nor to usurp authority over the man. So, is Joyce Meyer serving God? Is Juanita Bynum serving the Most High God? Are these so-called women of God? You better think again. Read on.
But to be in silence, for Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
Adam was not deceived. The woman was deceived. Just like she is in these churches. Just like the daughters of Eve is in all these churches being deceived. Thinking that they're holy. Because they got perfect attendance every Sunday. When the Most High God says, keep the Sabbath holy. Remember to keep the Sabbath holy. From there, let's jump to... let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 5 and 14. Let's stay in that same book. Let's go to 5 and 14. Read on.
1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 14. I will therefore that the younger woman marry bear children.
I would rather the younger women. Paul is telling you, I would rather the younger women get married and bear children. But do you hear that nowadays? I don't need a man. I don't want kids. I got things to do. I'm a career woman. I gotta go to school. I gotta get a job. Read on. Read that part again. That's important, man.
I will therefore that the younger woman marry bear children.
What else? Read on.
Guide the house.
Nah, get a job. Be an independent woman.
Guide the house.
Nah, go to school and get a master's degree.
Guide the house.
Read on.
Give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully.
Because if you don't guide the house, get married, bear children, where have all these women turned to? Read on, Jew.
For some are already turned aside after Satan.
You have turned after the fallen one, the wicked one. You understand that? So, stop following these women preachers. Come out of these churches. They are not holy. They are not of God. From there, stay tuned. We're going to part 2.